Hi guys, Mark Crossfield here in my hands today. Taylormade M2 driver. We're going to compare it to the Nike Vaporfly. Good old fashioned matchup. Used to do loads of these. We're going to do a few more. Show you the difference or not between these two pretty big named and big branded drivers. Let's get stuck in. Right, so we've got Taylormade's M2. Get the little speed pocket, adjustable neck for lie and loft, just dialing ball flight in a fraction for people who want to kind of maybe move their launch a fraction and spin numbers. You get the multi-material top, black with the kind of graphite appearance and the white band at the front and the black face. One of the best looking drivers you can get. It does look superb. It's got no slidable weight M2. It's the better priced of the two M1, M2. I'm not sure if anyone's buying M1 anymore really, because M2 does perform really well. Unless this spins like 300 revs too much, you might go M1. Great looking driver. Comparing it up to the Nike Vaporfly. So we get this fantastic striking blue with the Nike tick in the bottom corner, silver face. Both of the head sizes on these two clubs are generous and friendly and big. Look lovely down by the ball. Both very nice shapes and both pretty funky in their colorways. You know, these are two beauties in the driver market. You get stabilizing bars and you also get channels on the Vaporfly. How much you read into the tech is up to you on how techy you are. I'm not finding one company's tech particularly outdoes another, to be honest, in lots of my tests. I think they all kind of home in quite well to their club. So we're just going to hit a few with the two clubs. I've also got some real ball data as well, which I've captured, which we'll talk to you about as well. So M2 down by the ball, sits square, looks great, very big and friendly, which I do think will appeal to lots of golfers. Lots of their tour players have gone to M2, even over M1, which I think is a real endorsement for this club. When you hit this club, it feels good. It makes a pretty decent sound, not the quietest thing in the world, but certainly not too loud. And to be honest with you, I produce very good numbers with M2. I've tested it on many different occasions, and if we look at my numbers on the real ball test, I'm carrying it around 260 average, 266 being my longest, spinning at around 2000, launching at 15 degrees. I mean, 2000 revs with plenty in the 1000s. Are really, really good numbers for a driver at this price point with the weight that appears to be at the back. It does produce very good, solid data, and I've tried it on many occasions. It cannot be faulted. Looks great down by the ball, feels good off the face. I think lots of people would take this on the range, and it's definitely going to win on its looks. And if they get it on a launch monitor, I don't see many people producing bad numbers with M2. It does very well. Now, if we compare that up to the Vaporfly, I think the Vaporfly isn't going to appeal to everyone on its looks. I think the blue, with the blue grip, for many might be a little bit too much. I actually really like it. Obviously, you get pictures of Rory using it and their other staff players, which does put it a bit more in the mainstream, doesn't it? Hitting this club, sits again very square. Maybe a little bit more rounded than M2 in its shape, but both of them look very good. Off the face, very similar sounds on these two. Really can't feel the difference that much. You get this blue top with this kind of flecked pattern on the top, which makes it look quite similar to M1 in its crown design. Again, if we look at the real ball numbers I captured with the Vaporfly, not much in it, averaging 256 carries, so 4 yards behind M2. Longest hit though was 263 compared to 266, so only 3 yards in the two longest comparisons. Spinning at 2.1 compared to 2057 with M2. Both of them launching 15 degrees, and peak height on both of them 36 degrees, so very, very similar in their performance. M2 just pipping it there, but I wouldn't call that a pip. I think if you hit enough shots and the strike jumps around like it does, there's going to be not much between those. Had to have the Vapor set down at 8.5 compared to a 9.5 with the M2. So I did have to set the Vapor down at a lower loft to get similar launches, similar spins, similar performance. I could game either of these. I think I would pick M2 over it. I think if I had to pick on looks, I like the look of the Nike. This kind of does, but I don't mind a little bit of J's. But I think out of the two, on consistency of performance for me, it would just sneak it on M2, but there'd be not much in it. I could use either. What would you use and why? Let me know. You can see there the numbers are very similar for me, which often they are with these drivers, because I do deliver quite a consistent number. That isn't a fault of mine, that is just a way of testing the clubs, and I think shows you how similar they all are. If I like the look of the Nike so much more than the M2, and those numbers being that close, I would choose it. But because the looks are quite similar, I do just pick that one, but it's such a tiny bit. I think I would sneak M2. Which one would you go for? Which one would you try? Post comments down below. I'd love to hear. Speak to you soon. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Periscope, all the normal social places. Also, come and visit my new website, markcrossfieldgolf.com. See you over there.